Hello, this is Dawn Tack is coming to you from downtown Pittsburgh. This podcast is The Point, where we have real, raw, unscripted conversations about all things wedding planning in the Steel City and beyond. If you've recently said yes and you have some new bling on your hand, or you're a year into planning, this podcast is for you. So let's do it. Let's get right to the point. Hey everyone, this is Dawn. This podcast is The Point, where we talk all things wedding planning in the city of Pittsburgh and beyond. I have photographer, videographer, Joshua Vassbinder and his wife, April, from Capture the Room. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So you see a lot at weddings. I'm going to just ask you some quick things. We're going to say boss it or toss it.
Okay.
Right? Like, because everything is changing in the industry, right? Yeah. So recently I saw something, and it was the officiant. First, the bride and groom would walk to the altar. The groom is up there with the wedding party, and then the bride would walk up, and then the officiant would walk up behind her and stop halfway in the aisle and have his mic and everything there. And so that the bride and groom were literally under the altar with no officiant there and just the bridal party. Boss it or toss it?
I'm going to say...
Are we doing each, or is it just...
You could do each. You could start, April, if you're ready to go.
I feel like I would toss that. I don't know why, because I love the end, but to me, you can get that at the end. Like that image, I see maybe, is that what they're going for there, is the shot of without the officiant? But to me too, like the bride is, that's your closing, here she comes. So if I'm still looking at the aisle and here comes the officiant, like, I don't know, I feel like that takes away a little bit from the bride. Like she's your bookend, to that moment.
I hear you.
Listen, I'm going to say
but
boss it.
I'm sure it's a beautiful.
Yeah, I'll say boss it. I think keep that with a side note of maybe the officiant stay back far enough that it's not taking away from the bride, I guess.
Okay.
I would say. So a bit of both, but boss it, I would keep it.
I boss it too.
It's interesting.
I say boss it. And the reason I say boss it is because, well, the idea is that when the bride walks down, the couple is now facing their guests.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's about the guest experience.
And you have the party there. It's them. Sorry.
Yes.
It's them. They're sitting there together. I like it.
And the photos and the
vision.
video.
Yeah,
right? Like no fees to inspire you. Boss it or toss it. Throw in the groom or the bride in the air for photos.
Make sure insurance. I'm all for it. I'm a big content guy. I love those cool shots. I also come from a very big safety background. So even like when we're doing engagement shoots, we have codes that we're calling out to each other. Like if there's bikes or something coming behind me, I can call out something to them, or they'll call to me. So
Will's your 3 o'clock.
So during my shoots, we're communicating like crazy. It's not work, I promise. It's fun. But I say boss it. Keep it. I think it's really cool. I actually want to do it as long as you're careful, because you can get messed up pretty good if you land wrong.
April, boss it or toss it?
I'm
Just
going
argue.
I'm going to counter that.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No. I actually want to boss that one too, because I feel like I'm a millennial, so I come from the all that generation where they're slow-mo jumping on the trampoline. So I feel like I love any slow-mo slide in the air because it's nostalgic for me and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid. I love that.
I already know what you're going to say because I knew when you said it.
I'm such a safety girl.
Yeah,
it scares me. It scares me. I had a bride in a barn, and they were literally, she was on a cheerleading team. So they were tossing her like 15 feet in the air. Really? And I was like, the whole time, and my booth is sitting there, and it's 200 pounds, and it's metal, and it has sharp corners. And in my mind, all these things are running through my
Safety.
And I was like, oh my God, please don't let them, make sure they catch her. So
but remember those funny moments, the things that go wrong are your funny moments.
That's very wrong. We had one wedding where I asked them, I was like, would y'all feel comfortable? They had a party with them. They were wild. They were fun. And they had a lot of dudes on the groom side. And I asked them pretty early. I think I was there probably around 11. I asked them, I was like, hey, would you want to throw him in the air? And they're all like, yeah, we should do that. I had a bridesmaid come up and they're like, they've been drinking since like 9 or 10. And I was like, We're good.
I don't know what they look like sober. They just look like they're fun right now.
Fun. Yeah. So we mixed it. We were like, it's like I said, as long as you're being safe about it, absolutely. In a barn with sharp edges, I don't recommend that. If you're outside in some decently cushioned grass, I think you're way better off. Yeah, it's a cool thing. It looks amazing, which is
definitely
trendy. So, which I love stuff like that. So I will do it in the future. I think we just right time, party, place. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. I have one more boss it and toss it. I'll come back to it, but let's talk about like the family, like when you're doing video and they're lining up a family and they're doing the family photos, are you videoing that for them as well? Are you like behind the scenes of the photographer? Because it's kind of like staged and, styled.
I have slowly gotten away from getting all of that. So I used to, because I was just like,
sure,
there are fun little cute moments in between, but I think I just kind of came to the conclusion. I was like, the photographer's gathering this.
Yeah.
There's no real reason I can't use it in the footage the way I would want to make it flow correctly. I got away from it. I don't do it anymore. To me, there's no point other than it's just extra footage that they can have, which is all great to me. But end of the day, the photographer's gathering that posed shot. There's no motion. There's no storytelling to that to me, other than you're getting family photos and no
I agree. It's redundant. It's redundant, and your time is better rested and seated and ready for that live candid engagement, everything that's going on for the bridal party entrance, for dances, things like that. Sit or toss it past meals, like family past, meaning they serve the meals to the table and you're passing it around like you would at a Christmas, as opposed to a buffet or a seated meal. And if you haven't experienced this, then what's your thoughts on it?
So it would be like each table has their own portions.
Correct.
I'm going to say toss it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a germ guy.
Well, okay, that's a good point.
But
that's a good point.
But like you lessen the germs if it's coming to your table versus the whole buffet
Some
line.
places deliver straight to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the alternative. So I don't know. I kind of like it. It makes it gives it a little
family,
La Familia, vibe.
I like it too. Yeah, I like it too because everybody's seated at the same time. Everybody's having dinner simultaneously. Yeah. So as far as execution of the timeline, you don't have to get everybody through the buffet. Right. You don't have to be called to dinner. Everybody's simultaneously. So it gives the bride and groom a little bit more time. Yeah. And then you get to enjoy the experience with whoever's at the table. Like, have you tried this? No, tried this, and you're passing and sharing. I like it.
I've never experienced it, but I think I do like that.
Toss it.
I'm also a hangry person, so I don't like watching people eat before.
Yeah. That's so true.
The buffet line, I'm like mugging the buffet line. Like,
that's another good boss it or toss it. Can I give one to you?
Sure.
The photographer, videographer eat after the bridal party.
Oh my God.
Oh yes. This is so important and not talked about enough.
Because I think I have not even a unique. I think I stand for most photographers, videographers. It is not a pride thing. It is a time thing.
Yeah.
I think as long as, to me, bridegroom, bridal party, parents get to eat and then get us in there to eat. Just because it's like when that bride and groom are done, I want to be done.
Right.
And I want to be on them, ready to go. I'm not filming anybody eating. So I'm going to eat when they're eating. And then when they're done, I'm back with hanging out with them.
And you want to get the golden hour photos with them at 7:00 out on the field with the sun. And so correct. You
need to eat.
Yeah. And I think a lot of couples don't really weigh into the timeline that the video and the photography teams take. And how long that you're there and that you're holding the camera, you're holding equipment, you're walking, you're burning calories, you're emotionally invested in them. So that is also burning energy from you. It's not like fasting for a day. Exactly. It's not the same thing. And you can't fast at a wedding.
Yeah. I've been fed it.
you're thinking about
a million
seating
things,
arrangements and cousins and aunts. Like you're thinking of so much that like
you can't put Larry and Ted together.
In all honesty, sometimes it's the venue too. Sometimes the venue is like, we're going to feed everyone else and then we're going to allow the vendors to go through. And they are so dismissive to the time that you've already worked, and they don't get that. And the bride and the groom don't know any better. And you're not going to go up to them on the day of their wedding and say, by the way, I need to eat now. Like nobody's going to do that. And I wish that more so, not just the couples, but our venue coordinators would respect the vendors enough. And at a minimum, the photographer, the videographer, the people that have to be with the couple when they're done eating. Like the DJ, like I've seen plenty of DJs eat behind the deck. Myself as a photo booth attendant, if I'm working, I can bring a plate of food to the photo booth and be eating there, right? Yeah. I don't have a camera in my hand either. Right. Yeah, so it's all self-contained in the booth. So it's incredibly inconsiderate. You're not really taking into account for the time that they're on their feet and that they're holding that camera and they're burning calories. They cannot fast on your wedding day. Okay.
We should.
Vendors cannot fast unless you want blurry pictures.
Like we're there at 9, 10 a.m. Yeah. We're here till 10 p.m. We got to eat at some point, and I don't put it on. You should feed your vendors, guys.
And cookies, while we appreciate them, are not enough.
End of the day, per contract.
Protein.
Let's talk about planning for great photos, because every couple, or particularly most brides, will go to Instagram and, they already have their board and an idea of what they want. What can you tell them? How can you help them plan for great photos? What are the things that you share with your couples?
We do site visits before the wedding to get an idea of, where location wise are we going to be doing shots, and we do online research just to see, but we have them send us inspo. If they see something that they loved, we'll handle that. But yeah, just and timeline, making sure everything is going to fall where we need it and when we need it, and daylight, where's the sun hitting and not hitting, and do we want to be inside, do we want to be outside? I think 1,000 things go into making sure we're going to get what they want, and making sure everything lines up on our end to, if somebody wanted, say, the background of this, but the sun has absolutely lit you up, it's like, well, how can we manage that?
And do you do engagement sessions with your couples?
Absolutely.
You put that into some of your packages?
We actually do that with video too. Last year,
really?
We did. Yeah, I just offered they could either do a love story video, so they, think of it as a engagement session in motion, and it gets spliced into their wedding video, or we could just do an engagement session, so they have 2 sets of photos. The photographer did it, we did it, and I think that's something I came up with just to. Not only it helped me build my portfolio of engagement photos, but they also were like, hey, we get a second round to go somewhere else.
And it gets them comfortable behind the lens.
Yes.
And it gets you comfortable with them.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a win-win scenario.
Yep.
I see a lot of couples posting in the groups, we just want a photographer this day. We don't need any the bells and whistles or any engagement photo shoots, and I'm like, that's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Most people in their wedding packages, it's free.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like,
why not
do it? Yeah.
It's a
free photos.
once in a lifetime thing to do. Live it up.
Yeah.
Do all the things.
And go have fun. We're gonna make you look like rock stars.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Is there anyone that stands out in your mind that you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go home and tell my wife about this wedding?
Man,
that's gotta be tricky.
I mean, we have so much fun.
I'm just saying, maybe we met Callie and Eric.
Yeah, that wedding.
He keeps popping in my head. I'm like, I won't say their names just to
be respectful.
That one at Glen Eden, where we met the Hype DJ duo, they were that whole night, and we ended up shooting. We did the photography. They didn't want video, or I think they wanted video later, but we had already displaced everyone, all our staff. In between the photography, we were filming the Hype DJ duo, just because we were there, and it was like you can only take so many photos of people dancing. So,
right.
In between,
it's not always the best angle,
and everyone.
Some of the best stories, though.
Yeah, if they're drinking, like so, people get sweaty, and it's not always the prettiest thing. But in between, we shot a video with them, and I'd go and we talked to David, and I remember when we got there, we were setting up and we were going around looking, and I went upstairs, and David had a couple there very early in the morning when things were just, and we ended up talking, and it was just like, it's such a great place to be. And and that couple too, I just shot their family photos for Christmas. And then we're going back here in the spring. We're going to shoot again for them.
Nice, for
their,
Easter.
That's
more
what's so
photos.
wonderful. It's like, not only are you filming, you're a part of this huge event and, life milestone for them, but like you continue on, you build these relationships, and now you're doing their maternity photos, and then their, newborn photos, and then family Christmas photos. So you become, something that's a constant in their life for all these major events. And I think that's why these weddings are so important to us, and fostering these relationships, because they just avalanche into all this amazing stuff, down the road. It's not just like that one and done wedding.
And that's the best part about a wedding, I think, is you follow that story. If they have kids, they have kids. If they go this route, they're going this route, and you get to see that, and you get to be like, I was such a, maybe they don't remember me. They will, I promise you. But they, I remember every wedding. I remember every couple. I remember how they reacted to things. Like, it's such a big part of my story, that it's just like these not stepping stones. I think it's a weird way to say it, but like just these stop points during a journey that you remember all these cool things, and now you get to watch them grow, and start their families, and
we love staying up to date on all of that stuff, and seeing that happen for them. We were blessed, like we were so lucky. Like we have had, like Josh has done a phenomenal job his first year, and he's been able to travel, so we've been local. But he had the opportunity, and we were lucky enough to be able to go along with him. But he filmed in California.
I know that.
This year. He filmed in Florida, Marco Island, Florida this year. He filmed in Vermont this year. So like I'm thinking our California couple, they just had a baby.
Yeah.
And now we've formed that relationship where, we can mom talk a little bit, and, that type of stuff. I never thought I would have, people that you would know in California on the other end of the country.
Just from this experience
of working their wedding day.
Of doing their wedding day. Joining Pittsburgh brides.
Yeah.
Just,
I mean,
a terrified videographer showing up like, hey guys. And
let's talk about that a little bit, though. I want to circle back to that beginner phase thing. So, and I know that you were like super passionate and out there and putting yourself out there and booking weddings and everything. What do you say to those new photographers that have the same type of passion for, or any wedding professional? Let's just do full circle on that. Not just photographers, but wedding planners, bakers, florists, decorators, photography. If you have a passion for it and you want to get into it, what would you 2 years later say to your former self 2 years ago?
Because you're going to want to, because sometimes it'll seem like it's impossible, because you're going up against people that do have their galleries together, and they do have learn what you can do to grow in the industry. So for me, it was like, can I second shoot, and can I use those photos? But hey, this is what I've done. So like you find those avenues of, how can I get my toe in? How can I get my foot in the door? How can I, and then I'm stepping my legs in, and now we're here. And it's just don't give up. This right here, my wife, is the reason I am here. I promise you. I've wanted to quit a couple of times where I was just like, I don't think we're going to be able to break into this. I was like, look at all these, look at Amy Jennings, look at the Caitlin Logan. They're phenomenal.
There are thousands.
They put in their time.
Yeah.
And they've put in their time, and they're phenomenal. I love them. And they've been so wonderful. The community, going to the community, get involved.
Yeah.
Cause I got involved, and then I remember Amy, like same as you, took me like a
bear
big hug and was like sending me people. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, what can I do for you? I don't, I'm not with you. Like, but just do what you can. Do not quit. If you're truly passionate about it, you can do it. I mean, everyone says it. You put your mind to it, you can do it.
You can do anything.
I promise you. It might take longer. It might not. I feel like we kind of blew up in this, and got our name out there very quick with hard work. Like, I was cutting steel in the morning. I was coming home dirty, get a shower, spend an hour or two with my family. You
got to pay your dues for sure.
And grinding. Just work
one
hard.
One of my favorite quotes is, follow your dreams or spend the rest of your life working for somebody who did.
Yeah.
Like you either do it and it takes action.
Yeah.
You can't just talk about it. It takes action. And I had this conversation before as well. Like, I think those that succeed in this industry are very creative. They have that element, whether you're a baker, a photographer, or a florist, a decorator, you have that creative gift, God-given gift that you should be sharing with the world. But you also have to be a doer. You have to get shit done.
You have to persevere.
Right. You have to get done. And there's going to be a brick wall in front of you. You got to figure out how to go over it, around it, under it, or through it if you need to, because that's just the nature of the beast. Things are going to happen and you're not going to be sure how to handle it or how to deal with it. And that's the other reason why you should look for a mentor. And that mentor doesn't necessarily have to be someone that's in your realm. It can just be someone in the industry. Like, I am mentoring a few businesses. I'm sure you're mentoring a few businesses. It's good to have someone to bounce something off if you're not sure, but it's, dig those heels in, and I will not quit. I'm in it to win it. And then if God wants me to go a different direction, he's going to let me know.
Yep. Yeah. Those signs, those $100 bills floating outside the window.
Right.
Those are your signs to follow, to stick with. Yeah. So just grinding and being consistent. And like you said, find a way.
What's the best moment for you after the wedding? Like, do you send your videos to your clients sight unseen? Do you do a Zoom call with them? Do you push send and wait for a response? Like, tell me what that has to be a little bit of like Christmas for you.
Yeah. So I walk back, and that feeling of like, you see the love, you see the energy, and I get a smile on my face, and I'll catch myself, and I'm like, we did good. Like, we did good. Okay. Like, that's one of my favorite parts. But sending into 26, we're evolving. We're always trying to do better. We're doing onboarding with our brides, the development we're working on now. So it's more involved with them. So it's not just like we're just showing up day of and like, let's get it done, or we're not doing just a phone call where, hey, what do you want? It's more involved, because it was just send and wait.
Yeah.
Wait. And sometimes wait.
It's a really long time.
And wait. And you're like, are you mad at me? And they're like, oh no, sorry, we're on
a plane. Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah. You're like, oh,
silly me.
I'm not that important. I forgot. Sorry guys. No, but yeah, I think like as we progress and we evolve, it's going to be more, we're going to sit down with them. And even if through Zoom, because not everyone can just meet up and watch that. Watch it with them, because I do want to see their faces when they're watching. I have people called, I have people text me, they're crying, and that is the best feeling, is when people are like, Josh, I am in tears, and I'm like, oh, thank God, yes, we did it, guys. No, but
that's the good stuff.
It's so good, and it's almost addicting to where it's like
dopamine. I need more of it. Yeah. I want
What's
more.
Next?
Yeah.
So,
no,
I love it.
There's nothing better than that. And, I remember having this conversation with a wedding planner, and it's like, people are like, aren't you tired when you go home at the end of the night? I'm like, when we do a big event and it's executed perfectly, I'm like, oh man, like yours, like I can't go to sleep. I go home, I'm all pumped up. I'm excited. I'm reliving that event in my mind and every detail and saying, wow, that worked out magnificently. Yeah. And the brides do that too.
I'm sure.
And the grooms and the couples do that. And that's why they want their content.
And that's why we want to catch that high.
They need that. They want that.
Even if you're doing important parts from out the day, you don't got to show the big stuff just right away. But if they're big on the ceremony, hit those highlights with them. And then speeches for video. Like if we're doing speeches, those are all part of the new phase that I'm trying to develop as we're heading into 26 here. Because I want to catch that high. I want to catch that buzz that, like...
Let them ride that roller coaster as long as it will go, baby. Let them ride it. Don't let it drain.
It can take a minute to edit, videos. When you get into the 30-minute videos plus, you're getting into speeches, you're getting into the first look, you're getting all that. So the editing stacks. But what we can do to counter that is our montages that we're doing, the 24 to 48 hours now, after we take all those big moments and we can kind of compile them into, you can post it on social media, which
a little drop.
That they're going to love. So
that's really smart.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty standard now as far as videography goes. If not, you should be doing that. But
because you got to ride that roller coaster. Because if they're waiting for 4 months or 6 months for their rendered video,
I think it's a lot.
The relevancy of their wedding has gone down.
Right.
It's not as important that, like, the best parties are the ones that people are talking about 2 days after, 3 days after, a week after, 3 weeks after. They're not going to be talking about it too much a month after or 2 months after. And so, like, if they're getting that fully rendered video in month 6, or they're getting their photography images in 5 months or 6 months, and they post them on social media, they're not getting that dopamine rush that they're expecting.
That's an obsolete time frame now. Like, that's part of that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I hear a lot of brides saying that they're waiting
but I'm
4 or
saying
5.
No, they do, but you shouldn't.
That's what I'm
Correct.
saying. It's like, I think it needs to be obsolete.
Sure.
Like, I think that's where
where you fall into that weird area of not everyone does this full time. Some people do have full-time jobs, and
so that would be a good question.
That's an important question. I think people ask. I had one bride, she hired me, and I love her. She was wonderful. And she we did their engagement session, and they had so much fun. We actually did it at the AMC waterfront.
Nice.
IMAX.
Okay.
That was one of my favorite shoots. But she asked me, she was like, "Is this your full-time job? Like, dude?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I was like, I was blessed enough to be able to do full-time, and this is what I do. This is what I love. This is what I'm passionate. She's like, "I can tell when I talk to you, it's there." She's like, "I just wanted to." That was a question I should have asked, and I was like, "Yeah, that was a really good question to ask." I think early is this full-time? Is it not full-time? And it's okay if they are full-time somewhere else. They can still get it done. I don't, no shade to anybody that is working. I commend you. It's very hard.
So much respect. It's hard.
But the timeline might be a little different than mine, just because this is what I do. And now, like I said, we're evolving. And
time matters.
Yes. Yeah. And
the
quality.
Clock. Tick tock. Tick tock.
Tick tock.
Yes.
just there's a lot. There's so much that goes into all of this. And nobody's really wrong. Unless you're ghosting people and not getting stuff done, then obviously you're wrong. But if you're making stuff happen, I hit a huge hiccup last season, and we have the best brides. My clients were phenomenal. My son, we won't get into it. He ended up in the hospital for a little bit, and he was fine. Everything was all good, but it put a wrench in our whole system for a couple of months, and that put me behind. So things happen, like things do happen, but as long as you're staying in communication and talking, like,
bam,
you're going to be okay.
Communication is the key. My mother was on hospice for 9 months. And for those 9 months, I was bedside with her with my laptop in my lap. My husband and Josh handled everything, my manager. And when she was awake, I closed my laptop and I was with her. And when she wasn't, I had my laptop open. But, people were emailing me, messaging me about events and everything. And I have an admin as well. And I was just like, I would push as much as I possibly could. But there are just times in everyone's life that you're unavailable. Yeah. And some of that, unfortunately, was when my mom was in crisis and going through that as a family. And that's where you need grace and compassion and empathy. But the true professionals are going to be like, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. Talk to Billy. I'm sorry, I can't talk to you. Talk to Josh. I'm sorry, I can't help you. My wife can. Yep. I have surgery. I have a doctor's appointment, whatever." Or this is the one I see a lot of professionals are being like, "I need a work-life balance, so I'm not responding until this day." And I'm like, if you're a professional in the industry, that one rubs me the wrong way too. Like,
maybe it's my old age, but
I think maybe it's a generational thing. There is work-life balance is something that you create. It's not something to be expected from your client. Right? Your client expects you to respond. Right. They expect you to respond in a reasonable amount of time. And I say a reasonable amount of time. If they email you on Friday or Saturday, if you're not replying back to them, acknowledgement of receipt, you don't have to get into details. By Monday, to me, something's wrong. It takes 2 seconds to send an email that says,
and that's
"I got your email, I'll get back to you."
Like top tier expectation for Rome. And, if he would get a message and it was 3:00 in the morning, he'd be up messaging the bride back.
Oh
cool.
I mean, 3:05 in the morning.
And
I'm
she's
like,
like,
wait,
what are
I'm like,
you doing?
What are you doing? And he was like, a bride messaged me. I got to message him back. I'm like, holy cow. I was like, but he holds that to such a high standard and respects. I think that respects people's time, and
that's it.
They're on they're on this timeline too, that they're trying to, and when you're in those moments of like, okay, I have this opportunity, let me see if I can figure this out. Like I just think they're owed that.
And I guarantee you, if your work-life balance is not responding to them in a certain amount of time, they're going to find somebody else whose work-life balance works for them.
Like, doesn't want work-life balance,
will.
But
I mean, we all do, but that's something you create. That's not something you mandate, right? And like,
and honestly, when it
work,
that is part of your life. Like, you love it. Like,
right?
You go work the 9 to 5, maybe.
It's those clients that have blessed you with trusting you with their with your talent. Yeah.
I'm just happy.
It's a pleasure to serve you.
I'm like excited about it.
You know what? I don't work Sundays because I work Saturdays, but I promise I'll get back to you tomorrow. That's all you have to say. Just make it really no guilt trips.
I tell all my brides, if you don't hear back from me within 24 hours, something is horribly within 24 hours. I'm answering because communication is everything. And to me, if you take a second, put yourself in their shoes, I want to know, hey, what's the timeline looking like? What's going on with this? Probably want to know, get that answer pretty quick. And especially if you're coming up on a wedding, they need those answers pretty quick because they're planning and they have all these other vendors that they're trying to talk to. And I've had people that were like, thank you so much for getting back to us so quick. We haven't heard from in 2 weeks.
I'm hearing a lot of that lately.
And people remember.
They do.
Communication, and
it's their freaking wedding. Correct. And it's their wedding. And these are their moments and for the rest of their lives. And it's just, a wedding that you're working for one day of many that you're working throughout the year. And I think a lot of vendors and a lot of professionals lose perspective of that this is their day for the rest of their lives. It's not just another wedding that you're working. Like, and you have to remember that's something they've been dreaming of since they were a little girl, little boy, got the ring on their hand, and like, respect that. Just a little bit of respect. I have been lucky. I haven't had any bridezillas. Well, I had one that was a little bit challenging, and I had one mother of the bride that was a little bit challenging.
I have that grandma. I love her.
Oh yeah, he's got a spicy.
Tell me about spicy grandma.
I love her so much. I got to meet her in person,
and that was even better when she finally saw Josh.
Yes.
Storytelling.
Everybody. So I was talking to the bride. Ding. Yeah, and she was like, "Hey, my grandma's going to be paying for this, and she kind of wants to talk to you about everything." So I was talking to the bride, and she was like, "Hey, my grandma she's paying for it. She wants to talk to you about what she wants." And I was like, "Okay, great." She was like, so you know, she's a little spicy. And I was like, she don't scare me. I worked at a detention center for 11 years.
I can handle granny.
We'll be all right. And she ends up calling me, and she's like, "I'm going to be on you day of, just so you know. I'm going to come up, I'm going to pull you by your ear, and we're going to go over here, and you're going to film this." And I told her, I was just like, we had so much fun. She was so lovely. I love her. I cannot wait.
Grilled him like, "Well, where are you getting this price?" "Well, online it says on text." Like,
we went through
grilled every aspect of the business.
We went through line items day of that meeting, breaking everything down of why it costs this much and why are we filming more highlight and cinematic now. They just want an old fashioned show up, record everything, and give me that. And I love that. I was like, we haven't done that yet, and we're gonna do it. And I got to meet her in person, and she's just this little Italian grandma.
God, you're handsome.
She's like, you
changed everything, right?
I know. She
said to him, "You better show up and be handsome." And then when he did, she said, "You better be a good looking."
Because I wasn't difficult. I was just, we were going back and forth. I was like, "This is the price." She's like, "Well, that is more expensive than
XYZ company."
Right.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like just explaining like why and all this, and she's like, "You better be handsome when I see you." And we got there, and she's like, "Oh, you are handsome." I was like, thank you. But she's a sweetheart. It comes down to communication. I talked to her and was like, "Look, if you want to drag me by my ear over because this is happening over here and you want it filmed, great. As long as everything's respectful, just don't cross that line of being disrespectful. Like, I'm here for it. If you need something over here, great. But as long as we're keeping that line of respect, then I think it's hilarious. And can we film this too?
Yeah,
I think behind the scenes,
it'll be good for social media.
But I'm excited. That one's in August, I want to say. July or August, I'll have to look. But that's coming up here.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I love that story. And that's the other part of meeting the person in person that you're hiring to film your wedding day, because they may get along great with you, the couple that's getting engaged, but family is family, and we can pick the people that we love. We can't pick the people that are our family.
And not everybody gets along,
right?
And the bride's not always the person in charge, believe it or not.
Yes,
sometimes there's other guidance in the realm, and that's okay. And you make sure you're going to vibe with everybody and have a good time. I think as long as you're open to ideas and conversation and communicating, you're gonna be fine.
But capture that day.
Capture that day. Capture the room. Capture the room. Capture the room. Captures the love. Joshua, April, Fastbinder, Capture the Room. Thank you so much for podcasting with me today. I have enjoyed this conversation so much. I don't think we covered everything that we possibly could have covered, so we're going to have to do it again with the hype.
And David of Glen Eaton. That's Capture the Love. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll just have like a big round table.
I'm telling you, if we just set it up, get some snacks.
This is Dawn coming to you from downtown Pittsburgh. This podcast is The Point. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, you got any laughs from us, give us a thumbs up, a like, share with your friends. And if you're looking to hire a very incredibly talented videographer with a lot of heart who really puts his couples first, Capture the Room. You can find them on pittsburghbrides.com, the Pittsburgh Brides Facebook group, and you can find them at your URL. I don't know it off by heart.
Just staring blankly. We're capturetheroom.com. It's easy.
Peace out. Bye, everybody.
Peace out. Bye.